So I think one of the questions that I want to ask that we got from LinkedIn is, are there small changes that you can make before you make this big shift? Because it is a huge shift and it shouldn't happen overnight. So how do you kind of crawl, walk, run, if you will, before you make a big shift like this?
Yeah. And the bigger org you are, the more important this is. And this is why I'll say this real quick. So if you're doing leads and your company's growing with leads, guess what's happening? The sales team is getting bloated, right? Because they have to have bodies there to take your high funnel leads and essentially do your marketing work for you. You know what I mean? To get them to like an MQL, really. I mean, that's really the way. They're marketers, really. And so over time, that team gets so bloated and so big, you got 100 reps all of a sudden. And now in marketing, you're saying, okay, great. Let's stop doing leads. Well, think about that, right? So all of a sudden, you're now proposing that we lay off a third or a half of the sales force. Really, I mean, this is actually, I've lived through this exact scenario. And so this is why it's important to, well, if you can shift this earlier, you know what I mean, away from leads earlier in your progression, that's better. Just know if you wait, the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to basically get away from it. And this is the main reason why. Because the teams have been built around this process. So that's why when you're thinking about doing this, especially if it's a bigger place, it has to be through a small test. Like just almost like with a lot of other things we do. But it has to be a very segmented experience.
You're stealing the next question, but I'm going to let you keep going.
Oh, I am? Oh, God.
Here. Yes. Keep going.
Okay. So because when you get onto that side, you want to have a set of reps over there, a set of campaigns all targeted, and you want to make sure the accounts that are in those campaigns don't ever see like a gated content or like they stay in that experience. And so then you can prove it out with like maybe 20% of your resources that, hey, if we do it this way, because that's got to be the longer term test. You're like, oh yeah, okay, leads aren't coming in. We're giving them content. Okay, lead came in, sales rep followed up. That's going to be the first point in the sales reps. They're going to like, oh, this person's already self-educated so much, my call is actually better than all those other ones I used to do. So anyway, it's setting aside a separate 10, 20% test and following that all the way through, because then at the same time, you're also showing sales, like, look at how better it can be. And if you can be more efficient with your resources too, and then start to think about what you do with those other people earlier than later. So yeah, it's got to be combined, obviously hand in hand with sales to do that.
Well, and to your point, you're showing them what the new world looks like and what it could look like moving forward. So you get them excited because these people have already educated themselves. They're much better quality conversations.
Yep.
It's a no-brainer for them. It's like, well, why wouldn't you do it like this? And I think oftentimes they don't realize all the things that you need to do as a marketing team to get to that point because, again, you're not just flipping a switch here.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.